There's a well-known saying that money cannot buy you happiness, but is that really the case for everything? Well, according to research and studies, money can actually buy you happiness in a variety of different ways. And I looked into these research papers and studies and have 4 ways that you can use your money to live a more happy and fulfilling life. If you want to look into these research papers and studies more closely, I will leave them in the description below for you to check out. Now let's get on to the 4 tips. The first tip is to buy more experiences and fewer material goods. This is a big one that lots of people get wrong because we often buy way more materialistic goods than experiences. We love to fit in with the trend, and people will always buy the nicest clothing, the newest car, or even the newest gadget or toy that pops up. Now, because we're buying this newer item, we will get a really big dopamine spike upon purchasing it, but since it's a materialistic item and it's constantly in our life, that dopamine spike quickly wears off and it becomes the new norm. Think about when you buy a really nice car. It might be really happy in the beginning, but your brain quickly adapts to that new purchase, and you're going to just be looking for the next upgraded version later on. And that's where we can look at spending money on experiences rather than things. There was a study done with over 1,000 Americans where they were told to think about a time they purchased an experience or a materialistic item with the sole intent of increasing their happiness. And over 60% of them said that when they spent money on an experience, they were way more happy than when they bought a materialistic item. And these experiences could be anything such as a vacation, going out with friends, going to a sports game, etc. There are lots of reasons why experience can cause you more happiness than just a materialistic item. When you buy into an experience over a materialistic item, you tend to remember it a lot better, and it provides you more stories to tell, and even people tend to talk about experiences more. Another bonus about experiences is if you even share it with another person, it provides you even a bigger boost of happiness because you can share that memory with each other. To back these claims even further, there was a study done that showed that people had elevated mood spikes when they were actually talking about an experience that they did. So if there is one thing that you can take away from this video, is that it's to buy more experiences rather than materialistic items. I think this one would be the biggest bang for your buck in terms of happiness. The second tip that you can use to buy happiness through money is to use your money to benefit others rather than yourself. Humans are very social, and the quality of our social relationships is a big factor in happiness. So there actually has been studies done on this to see if using your own money to help benefit others actually increases happiness. Researchers handed a sample of Americans a $5 or $20 bill and randomly assigned them to spend their money on themselves or for others. And what they concluded from the study was that people actually had more happiness when they spent money on others rather for themselves, and that's even after controlling for income. So it did not matter what income bracket somebody was in, it all showed signs that people had increased happiness when they spent money on others. There were even studies shown how people spend their money across different cultures and others, and even though these ways could vary drastically, it still showed the same effect where people had increased happiness when they spent money on others. So if you can, start giving people more gifts and helping out through things such as charity. It will be a great way to build relationships, give you a sense of purpose, and overall just give you a happier and more fulfilling life. The third thing that you can do is buy many smaller pleasures rather than fewer large ones. Most of us are limited with the amount of money that we have, so instead of buying one really big pleasure, break it down into fewer smaller pleasures. This is because happiness is more strongly focused on frequency rather than the intensity. So by having more frequent, smaller pleasures, you'll tend to increase your happiness level. And the advantage of smaller pleasures is that it's less susceptible to diminishing marginal utility. And diminishing marginal utility is an economics term where as we consume more of an item, the amount of satisfaction produced by each additional unit declines. Think about eating a whole pizza in one sitting. That first slice might seem really good, but after the third, fourth, or fifth slice, that level of happiness that you get from consuming that pizza declines. Now, instead of doing this, you could split up the pizza into only a couple pieces every few hours, and while eating that, it'll be much more enjoyable. And this can be true for almost anything. If you want to go to a fancy restaurant, you might only be able to go once every couple months, but you could make it into smaller restaurants that may not be so expensive, and you can have more happiness every week or so. Or instead of going on one big vacation a year, you could go on a couple more smaller ones, and you'll have more happiness because you'll be more frequently going on vacations. The fourth tip that you can do to use money to buy happiness is by buying time. People around the world struggle to have time, whether that's at your job, school, raising a family, or anything in between. It's kind of hard to find time, and people can get really stressed out about this. Well, a survey was done on this with over 6,000 participants, and it showed that people had greater life satisfaction when they used money to buy services to help buy back their time. And this can be linked to the day-to-day benefits that are caused by the reduction in time stress that these services and purchases provide. Another thing about the study is that it was not moderated by income, which means that people from all different income levels showed benefits of buying time-saving purchases. And these time-saving purchases could be anything from house cleaners, lawn care, or even products like air fryers, which will help you make food quicker so you can save more time. Once you do have free time from investing in these time-saving products or services, it'll open up more time for you to do what you love and ultimately make you happier. So you can use these 4 tips to help you spend money more wisely to ultimately make you a happier person. And like I said for the first tip, spending money on experiences rather than materialistic items is probably the biggest bang for your buck and shows the most benefits in increasing your happiness. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you were able to learn something from this video. Like I said, I'm going to leave the research papers and studies in the description. I think there's a lot of really good information in those that you can look at. That's it for now, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.